Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it will be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! I'm a karate instructor at a Kempo Karate Dojo. I've been teaching for about 3 years, but I've been learning karate for almost 9.5 years, and the kids and their parents are for the most part very cooperative, but this is one of the 2 incidents where I had to confront someone. I'll post that other story if you guys want. Anyway, I teach the youngest class. The youngest you can be is 5 years old, but if the main sensei says so, you can join earlier. For example, if your birthday is coming up in a week or so, this is all important, so keep it in mind. One day we had 2 new students in the class. Alright, the main instructor does their thing while I work with the 2 new kids personally, making sure that they get the basics. They were both in the front of the class as the lower rank you are. The closer you are to the front, probably to make sure that someone new gets everything they need to know. I noticed that one of the kids seemed very focused on their dad. No big deal, that's normal, especially for a new student, so I tapped him on the shoulder. I tell him, "Hey kid, please pay attention to the main instructor." The innocent kid says, "But I wanna see dad." "Don't worry, you can see your dad in about..." I looked at the clock to see what time it was, about 20 minutes. "Okay, thank you." I walked away. At this point. They had the idea of the strikes that we were doing, and I made sure that the other kids did not need any help. After about 5 minutes, we had a kneel and press. Basically, where you sit on the floor and practice deep breathing. I was making sure they were focusing on their breathing when I saw the innocent kid walking towards his dad. It was obvious as he had to walk across the dojo to get to the lobby area. We have a wall that separates the 2 areas with a small gap so you can get to the lobby, and I walked up to the kid. "Hey kid, please sit back down." "But I need to get water." "You can get water after you work your breathing. We have a designated time where you can do that." "Okay." He sat back down. "Thank you." It was at this point where I started to get suspicious about his age. He was tiny compared to the other students, even his brother. Yeah, could have been just a genetic thing. I mean, my best friend isn't exactly the tallest while her sister is really tall. But either way, when we split up into groups, I had the innocent kid, so I spoke to him. "Hey kid, how old are you?" "I'm about 3. I was shocked. I knew that sensei liked kids younger than 5 in, but never someone this young. But I didn't want the innocent kid to think he did something wrong, so I didn't say anything about it to him. We worked on our techniques, and I took a second to speak to the main instructor about this kid's age. "Hey there, did you know that that kid is only 3? Does a sensei know that?" The main instructor tells me, "I assume so." "Well, I'm gonna speak to the sensei after class just to make sure." "Okay." After we bowed out, I went to speak to the sensei. "Hey sensei, you know the new student?" The innocent kid? "Yeah, what about him?" "They are only 3. I just wanted to make sure that you know that." "What do you mean they are only 3? His father said that they are about to turn 5. "Apparently not." So I had a quick look around the lobby, seeing that the entitled dad and the innocent kid were gone. The sensei says, "Well, it doesn't look like they are here. I'll have a talk with the entitled dad tomorrow." "Alright, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night." The next day comes along. After school, I walk into the lobby of the dojo. It's the first class, so not many people are here. I did not see Pills, so I assumed he was in the bathroom. So I sat on the couch and pulled out my phone. About 3 minutes later, I see the entitled dad walk in with the innocent kid and his brother. And because I was off my ADD meds, I decided to talk to the entitled dad about the innocent kid. "Hello, are you the father of X kid?" "Yes, why do you ask?" "Well, I'm an instructor here. I taught your kid and his brother yesterday during their first day, and I had a question about the innocent kid." "Alright then, what is it?" How old are they? Well, they are about to turn 5. I told the sensei about that and he said it was okay for him to join. Really? Because from what your kid told me, he's only 3 years old, and I don't see any reason to lie about your age in a situation like this. So do you mind explaining yourself? Then the entitled dad shot the innocent kid a glare. Well, what does it matter? They are here now, and you can't do anything about it. Just suck it up. You might be right, I can't do anything about your son being 3 and him being here. But I can do something about it with the sensei, so again, could you please explain why the innocent kid is practicing in this class? Well, I signed his brother up for it, and he wanted to do it with him, and I didn't want to leave him out of things, so I signed him up. That's fine as long as both are at the very least about to turn 5, which your younger kid is not. Well, why do you care so much? Because I don't want your kid getting hurt. He's only 3, he could get seriously hurt if he's not careful. I was kinda exaggerating, but I wasn't flat out lying. This innocent kid could have gotten hurt if he wasn't careful. It's just fine practicing, right, kid? Yeah, I'm fine practicing. I nailed down to be at the kid's level. Look, kid, I'm not saying don't do karate. I'm saying wait until you're at least 5 if you want to do it here. Don't talk to my kid like that. I stood back up. Talk to him like what? Talk to him with his safety in mind? I'm making sure that he won't get hurt and become discouraged. The entitled dad stood up at this point. I have his best interest in mind. If he's happy, he can do it. End of story. And you don't have a say in what I do with my kid. Maybe I don't, but I also want to make sure that he keeps interest in what he's interested in. Don't you dare talk back to me unless you want to fight. I was thinking to myself this can't be happening. Listen, I've been learning karate for 9.5 years. You don't want to fight me. Fine then, right here, right now. And he went in for the sloppiest punch I've ever seen. When I did a small takedown technique, it was a simple sweep technique, mainly used if someone is trying to stab you with a knife. But it was easy to adapt. I also made sure that he didn't hit his head on the wood floor the lobby has. It was at this point where the sensei came out of the bathroom. OP, what are you doing? Sensei, calm down. He tried to throw a punch, so I took him down. If you want, you can take a look at the camera footage to see the whole conversation. I pointed up at the camera that was perched on the wall. Alright, I'll look at the footage, but please let go of the entitled dad. Yes, sensei. I let go of the entitled dad's hand as he started yelling at me. I turned out most of it, but I'm sure he said something about calling the police, which he surprisingly did not. Sensei says, alright, I looked at the footage, and it's clear that while my instructor started the conversation, the entitled dad threw the first punch. I'm going to speak with the entitled dad. If he continues being a jerkwad, we'll get the police involved, okay? Yes, sensei. I did not hear the conversation between sensei and the entitled dad, but all I know is that the innocent kid and his brother do not go to this karate studio anymore. Instead, go into a different one not too far from us. No, we aren't rival dojos. We get along really well actually. So there you go, the story about an entitled dad lying about his innocent kid's age to get into a karate class. This went down about 6 months ago. For a little background, I work for a parking company that has purchased a contract to run the lots at a big university in my state. I work as a dispatcher, which involves being a go-between for departments, helping out field staff and talking to people stuck in garages or who need help on a regular parking lot. I used to work the 3 to 11 shift and customer service, went home at 6:30, so I got some customer service calls at night that I cannot help with, but I do my best for nice people. Our contract with big university states that they collect all the money from parking citations, and so when students get citations and don't pay, they get an academic hold. No transcripts, can't graduate, can't register for classes, can't use campus resources, and so on. And that was the only reason I spoke to the entitled mother. So now that I have finished my ramble about the backstory, on to the main story. I got a call from a lady at around 8 p.m. Hello? Parking company dispatch office, how may I help you?
Hello, sir. I was wondering if you could help me with something.
Going to state here that she was nothing but a very nice, but very chatty person when I spoke to her. Sure, ma'am, I can try. What seems to be the issue? I'm hoping to give you the details here, cause she went on and on about it. Her son parked in a handicapped space and was placed on academic hold for non-payment of his $370 fine. Turned out her son was some third stringer on the university football team. Our management worked with her and placed a citation on secondary appeal, meaning the hold is temporarily lifted for some things, but not all. She explained all of this to me and got into the real issue after about 6 minutes of chatter. I found out later, but the dispute was over the fact that the enforcement officer forgot to get a picture of the car and the handicap sign in the same image. But based on the context clues for the location from the images, we knew it was correct.
So, my son went down yesterday and tried to pick up his family tickets for the game, and they wouldn't let him because there was a hold on the account, and I thought it was supposed to be lifted.
I pull up the son's account and I almost laugh because his last name is so close to the bad guy from Shrek, Lord Farquaad. I'm sorry about that, ma'am, but as a dispatcher I really have no idea how all of that works. But I do see that the hold has been lifted, so I'm not sure why he would not be able to collect those tickets. What I can go ahead and do for you is email our customer service manager with what is going on, and hope she can dig into what it is in the morning and get back to you as soon as possible.
Oh, do you mean X?
Absolutely murders a pronunciation of a Swedish first name a manager has. She makes it sound French somehow. No ma'am, I'm not familiar with that name. What has he helped you with?
He's the one who placed the appeal on the citation.
Oh, you mean X? The correct name? Yes, that is his department. I can go ahead and CC him on the email if you would like.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I only ever spoke with him over email. Could you please notify him as well?
I laugh a little bit. That is perfectly alright, ma'am. I will go ahead and write up the email as soon as we are done with the call. Is there anything else you need help with tonight?
No, thank you so much for your help.
Not a problem, ma'am. You have a wonderful evening. Now, if a customer calls in with a non-dispatch issue, they usually get super annoyed when I can't help them, so I pulled out all the stops on this email for this lady who was very cordial to me. I shoot the email off and the rest of the night is quiet till I leave and come in the next day. As soon as I punch in, manager A and B are there asking to talk to me about this lady. So I say sure. Turns out, she was the kindest entitled mother you ever did see. Imagine all of the usual entitled mother phrases.
My angel couldn't have done this, but he's such a good boy. Can't you please just let him off this one time, and so on.
All without being a total witch. She just wouldn't shut up while being the nicest person we had in a while. Blows your mind, right? Anyway, I never hear back from this lady, and it turns out that picking up family tickets is not allowed under an appealed student hold. All is quiet on the entitled mother front until the entitled kid strikes again. I got a call about a month later from the client who hired security for an off-campus garage we manage. Like a foot off campus, it's complicated. Somebody had run over and killed one of those state law pedestrian crossing signs and had the plate X. I take the plate number and say thanks. We will give it to the management. And I look up the plates after we hang up. I felt my jaw hit the desk. The car belongs to none other than the entitled kid, Farquaad. I get this excited little disc dance because I can't believe we have video proof of this guy being an absolute douche. The next day when I come in for my shift, I go over to the Swedish customer escalations guy and ask him if he remembers the Farquaad. And he just gives me this look and says yes in the most annoyed tone ever. So I told him that security at X garage caught him on video mutilating the crossing sign at the garage. He just looks up at me and his jaw just about hits the desk like mine did the night before. Next thing I know, he's on the phone with security and asking for the video. Now he's not a guy who has worked in the field with any parking company, but I have at an old job and I know exactly how much these signs cost. They range from $330 and up for just a sign. I swear to God this grown man giggled like a child when he heard that, and I showed them the prices online. It was a few days again before I followed up to see what had happened. The entitled kid at first denied doing any such thing to the sign. We told him cameras caught him. Fine, he admits he did it, but the dang thing only cost like $20. So that was all he was going to pay. The manager emails him out of our official price quote from a company for parts and labor to reinstall a sign, which came out to $500. It was so high because it was legit screwed into the ground base with steel cable, and he snapped the cables. They had to be re-drilled and the sign remounted. This of course was where all of the labor costs came in, and shot up the rate from just buying the sign. What does the entitled kid do? You guessed it, ran to his mother. His entitled mother did her entitled mother thing, until the manager, who was tired of her crap, told her we have video evidence of destruction of property and will press charges on your kid for it, which would tank his little third-string college football career. He had a payment plan worked out in about 10 minutes for the handicapped citation and the $204 destruction of equipment fee. He was being nice, which I frowned upon for this case. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.